Good evening, I'm Byron Scott with the CTV News Update. Maryland's Attorney General should be called in to investigate the state's 529 college savings plan. That's according to State Senator Mary Washington. For weeks, parents have been angry because they've been denied full access to their money. Washington says at a recent briefing on the prepaid college fund, it was, quote, profoundly disturbing. She says the plan's leadership has no idea of the extent of the crisis nor a timetable for a satisfactory solution. In addition, Washington says there is no sense of urgency or empathy for families whose savings accounts were frozen.
Immediately, we need to give people the money they need to not only pay tuition, but also room and board. What the 529 board told us, they told us that they gave people their tuition, they gave them money for school, and that there were no outstanding debts. That's just not true. We received testimony that while some people's tuitions have been paid, not all tuitions have been paid. And also the 529 funds allow for other expenses to be paid, not just tuition. So they confirmed for us that they've only paid for tuition. So if you have a student that needs room and board, they've not released the funds for that.
After a turbulent hearing last week before a House committee, the chair of the board resigned and a new interim chair was questioned during Tuesday's Senate hearing. There are currently 4 legislative committees looking into the crisis. Well, with rents skyrocketing in some jurisdictions, lawmakers in Annapolis are trying to make it more difficult for some property owners to evict tenants. On the local level, some jurisdictions are working on measures that would limit how much rent could go up from year to year. At the state level, a bill introduced by Delegate Mary Lehman will prohibit a landlord who is renting illegally from evicting a tenant.
If you are a landlord, and this would be anywhere in the state, and you are renting without a license, and you move to evict somebody, if you can't show you have a license, you have to go back to the jurisdiction where the property is, to Prince George's, Montgomery, wherever it is, get the license, then you can come back to court to proceed. And the premise of that is, if you cannot evict someone that you are not renting legally to in the first place, that is a no-no.
Well, that measure passed last session, but Governor Hogan did not sign it into law. Well, an important warning tonight is coming from the county sheriff's office. The agency says that scammers are calling residents and impersonating the department. They're telling potential victims that they need to pay money in order to close an open warrant on them. Sheriff John Carr says the thieves have been targeting seniors and young people.
Flags that you can actually see is that if they cannot identify what unit they're from, if they cannot identify and give you your descriptors as far as the information, as far as your warrant, and actually tell you what the warrant is for. You also want to follow up with our office and let them know exactly, hey, do I have an open warrant? And we frequently get calls at the office of the sheriff just to verify that information.
Well, Carr says residents can call the sheriff's office directly to find out if there is a warrant, open warrant for them. Those numbers are located right there on your screen. Well, some county high school seniors are missing 1 credit to graduate, and the school district is taking the blame. 34 seniors recently learned that they were short 1 credit to receive their high school diploma. School officials say the issue is due to an electronic error. All the students are missing an Earth and Space Science credit. The students are now being offered a shortened course online on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed 967 new cases. The county's positivity rate has eased to 14.44%. Marylanders are still dying from COVID, 5 over the past 24 hours, 54 since Monday, and 628 people are hospitalized. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott. Coming up, Taylor Thomas takes us for a ride at the Washington Car Show. Stay with us. Back in a moment.
These 9/11 veterans are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. We build specially adapted homes, and thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Welcome back. Title IX has been around for the past 50 years. The law prohibits sex discrimination in education programs or activities receiving federal financial assistance. It includes protections for pregnancy, gender identity, and sexual orientation, while Maryland lawmakers want to codify the federal ruling into state law. The move comes on the heels of the U.S. Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade.
Things like that you won't lose your scholarship, that you could take time off and not lose your place in your class, that you won't have to withdraw and reapply and get back into school again. That hurts people economically if they have to make that decision. It's very harsh. And so if they can do that. Also to have accommodations on the campuses, so places where they can have lactating rooms and they can have other opportunities to take care of their children and also to take time off to make sure that their children have an opportunity to grow.
The federal Title IX law was enacted as a follow-up to the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. As we told you yesterday, the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland is focused on 5 key areas this session. They are cannabis, education, health, housing, and black wealth. Delegate Nick Charles is co-chair of the Wealth and Business Black Business Committee.
Our legislative agenda moving forward this session includes extending and protecting the Minority Business Enterprise Program. We have a bill sponsored by Senator Antonio Hayes and Delegate Kevin Harris, which extends the time to address the study of the state MBE programs to make sure that the state is not leaving anything out that could potentially help our MBE program. We also have another bill that is being introduced by myself and Senator Antonio Hayes, which is the Small Business Protection Act of Maryland, which one makes it mandatory for every single agency within the state to put out an acquisition forecast for each of their agencies to make sure it's done at least 2 months before the state budget is approved.
Well, Charles says other legislation will create a tech diversity incubator to increase the success of black entrepreneurs. Well, Governor Wes Moore withdraws 48 of former Governor Larry Hogan's 316 recess appointments. This according to Maryland Matters. Those appointments include Maryland Stadium Authority Chair Thomas Kelso, who served as Hogan's former campaign chair. Kelso was one of the Hogan's first appointments after taking office in 2015. Moore plans to submit names to replace Hogan's nominees next month. The names are to be submitted to the Senate for its advice and consent. Well, Washington's auto show is back. Taylor Thomas is there with the story.
Young and old are excited about the region's largest auto show returning to the Washington, D.C. Convention Center, featuring dozens of new and prototype vehicles.
It's a personal hovercraft for someone who has access to the water or lives near the water. You can take it right up onto the shoreline, out into the deep waters. You can go over ice and snow. So it's a nice alternative to having to have a boat and an ATV and a snowmobile. This really, takes care of all those terrains.
Following no shows in 2020 or 2021 due to COVID and a smaller scale show in 2022, producers are happy to see fans returning.
I want to see the e-bike.
Just like the expensive looking cars.
Definitely interested in the electric vehicles. Want to check out the new lines they got coming out for the future.
Test driving returns after a 3-year hiatus, along with riding the latest models of electric bikes on 2 separate indoor tracks.
Some of the hot attractions here at the 2023 Washington Auto Show includes the Art of Motion, where you can see this vehicle right behind me being painted by a local artist. There's several vehicles being painted on site, actually live, and they are local artists showing their talents. This one is by Corinto Gallery, which is located right there in the National Harbor. It is a beautiful vehicle, and it'll be donated once the auto show is completed.
It's an electronic vehicle. So one of the things I'd like to feature is the fish on one side, which represents the water, panda on the hood, which represents the air, and we have, the land for the panda, and the bird, which represents the air on the other side, which is all good for the environment.
The Washington Auto Show runs through January 29th. I'm Taylor Thomas for CTV News.
And still ahead on the news, your Thursday sports page. Stay with us.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Welcome back. The use of the life-saving drug naloxone is on the rise in the Montgomery County School District. Reports indicate that the drug has been used 11 times since the beginning of the school year. Just this week, an overdose was reported at John F. Kennedy High School in Silver Spring. Meantime, the school system is hosting a family forum on this issue on Saturday. The district will provide Narcan training and kits from 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning at Clarksburg High School. Well, a man wanted for a 2021 murder in Bladensburg has been arrested. The suspect is 27-year-old Christian Valdivizio Paz. Police were called to a parking lot on the 5600 block of Annapolis Road in Bladensburg. This was back in May of 2021. That's where they found Christian Artiga on the ground suffering from gunshot wounds. He died on the scene. The suspect has been charged with first-degree murder. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to contact police. Well, the 2023 tax season is here, so we've been getting advice from Maryland Comptroller Brooke Learman. As we wrap up our conversation with the new comptroller tonight, she talks about why you should file your tax returns early.
If you file your return early, we can get you your refund early if you qualify for one. So, we can't send out your refund until we get your return. So I do encourage people to file as early as they can just to get it out of the way and to earn that refund if it's coming your way.
For more information, visit marylandtaxes.gov or call 1-800-MD-TAXES. Well, County Executive Angela Also Brooks is hosting a listening session tonight on the fiscal year 2024 budget. Also Brooks is looking for input on the things residents want to see in the budget. The session takes place tonight from 6 to 8, and you can watch it live from the county's YouTube page. Written comments can be emailed to omb@co.pg.md.us until tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Hey everybody, it's time for your Thursday sports package. We'll start with college hoops. The PGCC women's basketball team played against Catonsville last night, but they weren't able to pull out the win. The Owls led at halftime, but turnovers as well as a lack of defensive intensity allowed the Cardinals to pull away. Some highlights during the game include a tough and one layup by forward Alicia Jones. The final score of the game was 63-45.
Hopefully we can bounce back. It's a division opponent, Maryland JUCO team again, so it means a lot just to win these games. As we try, most of our girls are sophomores, so they're trying to leave with some type of legacy for Prince George Community College, and hopefully that rises to the forefront and motivates us to play a whole lot better on Saturday.
The Lady Owls are now 9-6 and will have a chance to get back in the win column as they play against Allegheny College of Maryland at 2 o'clock. Moving to College Park, the Terps men's basketball team also took the court yesterday and got back to their winning ways, beating RV Wisconsin 73-55. The Terps will look to move to 2 wins in a row as they take the court against the University of Nebraska on Saturday. Now to the NBA, the Washington Wizards beat the Houston Rockets 108-103 last night. And lastly, local tennis star Francis Tiafoe visited Governor Wes Moore in Annapolis this morning, and he also met with state senators and delegates who presented him with a proclamation recognizing him for his accomplishments. And that is your Thursday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Okay, and a quick check now on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 30. Tomorrow, sunny with highs around 51 degrees. Saturday, cloudy with temps as high as 51 before falling to 35 at night. And Sunday, partly sunny with possible showers, temps peaking at around 52 degrees. And that's your news update. I'm Byron Scott. Good night.